So this guy who I really respect, I would call him an elder in my life, tells me this story the other day, and it was so beautiful. He had made a bit of a mess of things at home when he was younger. He had like a number of kids, and everything was on the rocks for him, and he really didn't know what to do. And he gets this knock on the door, and there's an old guy from his church with some fruitcake in one hand and a small box of loose leaf tea in his other hand. And he looks at him and he goes, "What are you doing here?" He says, "Listen, I am not a therapist. I've been around for long enough to know that I really don't know much. But I reckon if we just have some fruitcake and some tea, I could just listen to you. Like I could just hear what's going on in your life, and that's it." And he invites him in, and they cut up some fruitcake, put some nice butter on it, have a cup of tea, and this guy just shares his heart with this older gentleman, and all the older guy does is just listen. Well, years later, this same guy who'd blown up things with his family, everything is restored and back to good. He goes and spends a year of his life and lots of money in his retirement doing a course on contemplative listening. Like he was that impressed and got to that stage in his life where he had realized that I don't need to be the person like that is transferring wisdom by the things that I say. I can transfer wisdom by being a really good listener. And I would say, and this is something I wrote about in my book, that the kind of elders that we need today in society, particularly in the West, are those who have decentered their need to be heard. I have so many people write to me, or if I talk about this in public, they said, "Yeah, but I'm older now and I've got so much wisdom to share, and the young people, they don't want to listen to my wisdom." And the problem with that is it's still about you. There has to be a point in your life where you're entering your autumn and your winter season, and you've talked all spring and summer, and yes, you know things, but the world doesn't need more chatter, more of this. This is not going to change your life. The kind of thing that changes lives, the kind of thing that transfers wisdom, is the sort of thing that happens over fruitcake and cups of tea. That is where the wisdom is transferred. That is where we need elders, because ultimately, and I think it was Theodore Roosevelt said this, nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. And listening to somebody allows them to be seen and known. And that is one of the greatest gifts I think we can give to people post-parenting, particularly as we move on into our later stages of our life.